Hello, my name is Denise Eide with The Logic of English. Today we're going to do a demonstration of spelling dictation. Spelling dictation is the method I suggest for teaching students both to read and to spell. It is a multisensory approach to learning how words are put together, how the phonograms work together to form words. So we will do a couple words and then we will stop and we will talk about the pedagogy and the theory behind spelling dictation, and then we will experience a few more words. The first word we will do is very simple. It's map. When I give students a word, I ask them to sound it out first. Notice they are hearing the word, but they are not seeing it. So they're going to break it into its parts. P. After they've sounded it out, I ask them to write the word. Students at this point should have learned all the phonograms that are required to spell that particular word. As they write it, I ask the students to sound it out. In this way, they are experiencing the word while writing as well as speaking, which is another one of the learning modes. Once they have written it, I ask them to help me to write it. And I usually use a whiteboard. When I'm teaching in a classroom, I'm obviously standing in front of the classroom. If I'm tutoring a student or working in my homeschool, I will place a small whiteboard next to me and I can be seated at the table across from them. So I'll say, now it is your turn to sound out the word map. If they are a young student just learning to read, we will then sound out the word together. Map. The next word is quit. She decided to quit playing the game. Quit. Then the students will sound it out with me. It. Notice I held up two fingers because the phonogram qu is written with two letters. Then I would have the student write it, and as they write it, sound it out. Then I would ask the students to help me write it. It. And now we will mark the word. Whenever two letters are used to spell one phonogram, we will underline it. This helps to train the students' eyes to understand that those letters are working together to say qu. And then we can sound it out together. Quit. The third word is laughed. She laughed at the joke. Laughed. The students would then sound it out. Af. Notice af is spelled with four letters. D. Aft. The students would write it, and then I would write it. Aft. And how would we mark it? We would underline the af and the t. With the af phonogram, which sound of af is this? It's the second. And since it's saying the second sound, we'll put a little 2 over it. This helps students remember it's saying its second sound. And then with laughed, you'll hear the t sound. The past tense ending is saying t. This phonogram actually has 3 sounds, ed, d, t. So we'll put a little 3 over it to help students remember that it's saying its third sound. The next word is give. Please give her a copy. Give. Let's sound it out together. G, I, V. Now, English words don't end in V, so what are you going to need at the end? A silent final E. Once again, students would have been introduced systematically to these rules in their lessons, so for the purposes of this demo, you'll have to be assuming that the rules have already been taught, but I'm trying to demonstrate to teachers some of the ways that they can dictate words using or with these rules. All right, then it would be the student's turn to sound it out, and then I would have them sound it out for me. G, I, V, silent final E. And then I always ask students when there's a silent final E in the word, why is there a silent final E in give? English words don't end in V, so we'll underline the V to show that it's the reason for the E, and underline the E twice. The next word is rescue. The boys will rescue the cat. When there are 2 syllables or more in a word, I ask students to count the number of syllables. Rescue. How many syllables? 2. The first syllable is res. S. The second syllable is Q. K. This will be a K, S, U, silent final E. And then I would have the students write the word. Then I would have them sound it out. Rescue. First syllable is res, S. Second syllable is Q, K, U, silent final E. Now, why is there a silent final E in rescue? Because English words do not end in V or U. So we'll underline the U once and the E twice to show that the U is the reason for the silent final E in rescue. The next word is program. What time does the program begin? How many syllables in program? 2. So let's sound out the first syllable, pro. P, O. Second syllable, gram. G, M. Then the students would write it while sounding it out, and then I would have them sound it out while I write it. Program. P, O. Second syllable, gram. G, M. And how would we mark program? We'll put a line over the O because it's saying its name. Why is the O saying its long sound? Because it's at the end of the syllable. What is the rule? A, E, O, U usually say their names at the end of the syllable. The next word is daughter. How many syllables in daughter? 2. The first syllable is da, d, ah. Notice this is 4-letter ah. Second syllable is ter, t, Go ahead and write it. Then help me to write it. First syllable is da, d, ah. Second syllable is ter, t, And how will we mark it? We'll underline the ah and we'll underline the This phonogram says ah, af, so you'll notice it's saying its first sound, so we don't need to put a number over it to remind students. Now notice when we are using spelling dictation, students are first hearing the word. Then they are breaking it into its parts. They are ungluing the word. This is part of the phonemic awareness activities that we have done earlier to prepare students for spelling dictation. Then they are writing the word. They are kinesthetically experiencing the word while they are sounding it out and while they are saying it, which is using the speech center of the brain. The very last mode that they are using is visual. Most times, mostly reading is taught as a visual activity where students are asked to memorize sight words as a visual cue without understanding the parts. So this process really helps all learners understand how and why the words are spelled in a particular way and emphasizes being able to glue and unglue words. Then we turn to the board, we rewrite it, and we analyze it together. And this helps students understand the logic of the language. In this way, spelling dictation is a multimodality activity where students are able to use their learning style of strength at the same time as strengthening their areas of weakness. Strong kinesthetic students will be able to write the words and to master through writing while hearing and practicing the visual side. Strong visual students will be able to learn more about the auditory connections and be practicing writing, and so forth. So spelling dictation is an excellent way to teach spelling as well as to teach reading and to help students understand the logic of English in a multisensory way.